Support the video with a like, and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I read every one of them. Thank you. I used to think nothing could shake my marriage to Rowan. He was the quiet, steady kind of man whose warmth didn't need loud gestures. Life with him felt familiar and comforting, like a favorite sweater you never realize you rely on until you lose it. Maybe that comfort made me careless. Maybe it made me forget that quiet hearts can break without making a sound. It all unraveled on a Friday evening during a casual dinner with friends. The atmosphere was lively, everyone teasing each other and swapping stories. I had a glass of wine in hand and far too much enthusiasm in my voice. When our friend Soren showed up, tall, funny, full of charm, I jokingly said, "Watch out, Rowan. If I ever take off, it'll probably be with someone like him." I laughed, expecting Rowan to grin or make a sarcastic comment. Instead, he just stared at me with an unreadable expression, then looked away. A strange chill settled over me, but I shrugged it off. Our friends chuckled uneasily, and the moment moved on. At least I thought it had. The next morning, Rowan was up earlier than usual. He cooked, cleaned, and left for errands with a calmness that felt unnatural. He wasn't cold, just controlled, as though he were holding something tightly inside. As the day passed, an uneasy tension grew between us. That evening, he came into the living room with a small box and said quietly, "Get dressed nicely. We're going out." My stomach tightened. "Rowan, are we okay?" He smiled, but it didn't touch his eyes. Of course. That smile terrified me more than anger ever could. He drove us to a little restaurant we used to visit when we first fell in love. It was soft and romantic, full of candlelight. For a moment, I hoped he was trying to reconnect, that maybe the joke had stung, but he wanted to talk through it. But that hope disappeared fast. Midway through the meal, Rowan stood up, tapped his glass gently, and addressed the people around us. My heart stopped. He hated being the center of attention. Whatever he was about to say wasn't normal for him. From the box, he pulled out one of the Playful date night coupons I'd given him long ago. This one said, "Your wish, my promise." He held it up and said calmly, "Tonight, my wish is honesty." People around us looked confused. My hands shook. Rowan turned to me. "Lena joked yesterday that she might run off with another man," he said, his tone even. She said it casually, but it taught me something. When someone jokes about replacing you, it often means they assume you'll never go anywhere. Heat flooded my face. "Rowan, please." He lifted his hand slightly, asking me not to interrupt. "In our marriage," he continued, "I've always tried to make sure she felt valued. But I realized last night that she doesn't think I need the same in return." He then slipped his wedding ring off and set it on the table. The soft clink echoed like a shout. "I'm not a man who demands respect," he said. "But I won't stay beside someone who treats embarrassing me as entertainment. If she wants excitement, she's free to go. But I won't be the joke." I could barely breathe. "That's not what I meant," I whispered. Again, he gently signaled for silence. Sometimes laughter hides what's really in the heart, even when you think you're kidding. The room was utterly still. Then he turned to the onlookers. "If any of you feel overlooked," he said softly, "remember this. Quiet doesn't mean weak. Sometimes quiet is just the moment before you choose yourself." He grabbed his coat. "Rowan," I cried, shaking. "Don't leave like this." He finally met my eyes. They weren't angry. They were wounded in a way that felt permanent. "You joked publicly," he said. "So I'm setting my boundary publicly." And then he walked out. The sound of the door closing felt like something inside, my chest breaking clean in two. People tried to comfort me awkwardly, but I was too stunned to speak. Even Soren looked horrified. I wasn't embarrassed by Rowan. I was ashamed of how thoughtless I'd been. One careless comment had torn through years of trust. When I got home later, Rowan wasn't there. His ring sat on the table, beside a note. "I love you, but love must have dignity. When you're ready to honor both, come find me." I sank to the floor clutching the note, realizing how deeply I had hurt him. His reaction wasn't cruelty, it was clarity. A clarity I desperately needed. Over the next few days, I replayed everything: his silence, his restraint, the pain in his eyes. Rowan didn't need dramatic gestures or raised voices. His strength came from knowing where his line was. If I wanted our marriage to survive, I had to earn back the trust one had taken for granted. So I packed a small bag, held onto his note, and went to find him. Not to beg, but to show him that I finally understood the weight of my words and that I was ready to rebuild what I had almost destroyed.